it's written in your blood. One life running in your veins, one life from one big bang. You can try and separate it, but all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Ask Annie Dillard when she's up on Tinker Creek. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. You can take an outbound train, try to make a getaway. You can ride off like John Wayne to the setting sun. Earthlings don't leave town, they just go round and round till they figure out all the world is one. All the world is one. All the world is one. All the world is
All right, welcome everyone. Today's service is titled Love and Death. And can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good, thank you. So we're Sunday, August 23rd. Here's some things to think about as we're going into this service. Want what you have, do what you are, be who you are, be yourself. The goal is to live in such a way that our lives will prove worth dying for. The one thing that cannot be taken away from us, even by death, is the love we give away before we go. Let's say this together as we light our chalice.
We
light this chalice with a web of light which sustains us. With the sacred circle of light where we have our being. For the earth, the sky, above and below. And for our Mother Earth and for the mystery. Now, if you would like to share joys and concerns,
yes, I'll share one. I'd like to share basically some news. Hello?
Go ahead.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
My good friend Earl Arno passed away this past week. And it was very sad passing. He was a quite well-known Cajun dancer. And he could tell you your genealogy just based on your daddy's name. So I'm very sad.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I should have something to be happy about.
Hunter?
Hey, like Judy, I also have some sad news. Wednesday night, my stepbrother, decided to end his own life. And,
Oh,
today we will be going to his wake. And so if you could all just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And my joy is that I was just happy to be a part of his life. And he made living in the country a lot easier, having someone to be with. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing that.
we never see me when I have my.
Bruce.
Yeah, I just mentioned, I feel very sad for a friend of mine. You might know her, Lillian Espinoza Gala. She's been to our services once or twice. And her house was broken into Friday night. And not only was a lot of heirloom things stolen, but she just feels so vulnerable now. And I feel so sorry for her in this predicament. And then yesterday she said that she heard from her neighbor that it looked like somebody was still casing the neighborhood. So she's called the police. I guess the police are going to add extra service, but I'm sure she feels very insecure right now.
Well, yeah.
Sorry about that.
She lives close to our building.
Yeah, just right around the corner. And it's not I didn't think it was a bad neighborhood, really. It's a pretty little neighborhood.
It's really not.
The university.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mary.
Well, I have a joy. I'm very thankful for all the people who have helped me mow the lawn. I have a friend who came over and 2 friends who emptied my compost for me. What a yucky job. That's a real friend, and they've cooked and come over. So I'm full of joy for those friends.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. Anyone else?
Well, I'm Carol.
Yeah, Carol.
Well, my youngest son is coming to visit me next week, so I probably will not be at the service, but it's going to be a great joy for me.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, sorry to hear that. But I'm glad that you attended today. Anyone else? All right. Let's say this together. For the joys shared, we join you in celebration.
In celebration.
For the sorrows and concerns spoken here, may you feel our sympathy and compassion. For all that remains unspoken, both joy
and sorrow.
may the caring of our community, our kindness and
Both kindness and hope.
Spirit of life and hope, we turn our minds and hearts again toward Thee. Awaken us again to the mysteries that humble us, the realities that orient us, the truths that judge and guide us, the beauty that informs and ravishes us, the love that nurtures us, the fellowship that sustains us, the creativity that heightens and deepens and reorders our living, that we may give ourselves in honesty and openness to the larger life before us. Amen. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Give away what you can spare. Never hoard what you don't need. must learn how to share. Working together is a way to succeed. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I breathe out love. Reach out your hand to those in need. Help them on the path they have made. Light a spark of hope, plant a seed. And if they stumble, please come to their aid. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I breathe out love. All right, we'll do the responsive reading. I'll read the unbolded. You please read the bolded text. All too often, we pace the geometries of our walled gardens.
Believing we are traversing the whole
creation.
With spirits of discovery, let us uncover the mysteries nested in our routines.
with the eagerness of children, let us seek out the secrets unfolding in our peripheral vision.
Let us behold each fellow creature with reverence. Let us greet each day with praise and thanksgiving. Oh, that's you.
No.
Y'all say that.
Let us greet.
Let us greet with praise and thanksgiving.
For life is a gift of incomprehensible magnitude.
Our lives are voyages with unknowable destinations.
Along the way, let us meet, kiss, challenge, and support one another.
Let us fashion a network of mutuality to extend it into a larger world.
In these ways, we forgive lives of goodness and beauty. We forge lives of goodness and beauty.
In these ways, we know the life of prayer.
Y'all did a good job. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the actual YouTube video here. lovely song. That was a request by Linda. The Spiraling Infinite Dance. As we enter this sacred silence, may our truest selves transcend the dissonance of daily distractions. As we join the spiraling infinite dance, pulsing unseen throughout all creation, so may it be. We'll have about a 2-minute meditation.
I need this.
Let's start coming back.
Wasn't very long.
Thank you, Bruce.
You're welcome.
That was beautiful. And the birds, beautiful.
All right, now we will have a presentation by Linda.
Schaller.
Which I'm having trouble unmuting. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I'll ask everyone if they would mute their microphones. So anyway, I changed my title, Love and Death, several times. So, and I'm still not, love and death is one thing I'm going to talk about this morning, but all of this that I'm talking about is about the Reverend Forrest Church. He was the pastor of All Souls UU Church in New York City, he was as the senior minister from 1978 till 2007, and then he changed titles because I don't think he was as active in the church. He was quite ill, and he ended up dying in September of 2009. He graduated from Harvard Theological School, and I don't think he ever served at any other church, which is really unusual. I'm bringing this up about his theological identification. He identified himself as a Christian Unitarian Universalist, and he refers to God quite often in his writings. But he also understands, you can tell from reading that he understands that we all have a different, we all may have a different view of that. For instance, I feel I'm a humanist. If I'm asked to name what I am, that's what I'll say. And I used to, at first I called myself a secular humanist. And now I realized that there's so much glory in the world and people around us that I don't say secular anymore. But you can read it. There's a lot about humanists in the UU if you want to read about it. The first part that I'm going to do is the cathedral of the world, not love and death. I'll get to that as the last part of it. In the cathedral of the world, he wrote about this many times, and in his last book was actually called The Cathedral of the World. And what I'm going to read to you is taken directly from his writings over the year. Imagine yourself in a forest while I'm reading this, looking at the light through many trees. Okay. Imagine wakening from a deep and dreamless sleep to find yourself in the nave of a vast cathedral, like a child newborn, untutored save to moisture, nurture, rhythm, and the profound comforts at the heart of darkness. You open your eyes into a world unseen, indeed unimaginable before. It is a world of light and dancing shadow, stone and glass, life and death. Such awakenings may happen only once in a lifetime or many times, but when they do, what before you took for granted is presented as a gift, difficult yet precious and good. Not that you know what to do with your gift or even what it really means, only how much it matters. Awakening to the call stirring deep within you, the call of life itself, the call of God, you begin your pilgrimage. Before you do, look about you. Contemplate the mystery and contemplate with awe. This cathedral is as ancient as humankind. Its cornerstone, the first altar, marked with the tincture of blood and blessed by tears. Search for a lifetime, which is all you're surely given, and you shall never know its limits. Visit all its transepts, worship at its myriad shrines, nor span its celestial ceiling with your gaze. Humans have worked from time immemorial, destroying and creating, confounding and perfecting, tearing down and raising up arches in this cathedral. Not a moment passes without work being begun that shall not be finished in the lifetime of the architects who planned it, the patrons who paid for it, the builders who constructed, or the expectant worshipers. Throughout human history, one generation after another has labored lovingly, sometimes fearfully, crafting memorials and consecrating shrines. Untold numbers of these today collect dust in long undisturbed chambers. Others cast centuries or eons ago from their once respected place, lie shattered in shards or ground into dust on the cathedral floor. Not a moment passes without the dreams of long dead dreamers being outstripped, crushed, or abandoned, giving way to new visions, each immortal in reach, ephemeral in grasp. Above all else, contemplate the windows. In the cathedral of the world, there are windows beyond number, some long forgotten, covered with many patinas of dust, others revered by millions, the most sacred of shrines. Each in its own way is beautiful. Some are abstract, others representational. The windows of the cathedral are where the light shines through. Each tells a story about the creation of the world, the meaning of history, the purpose of life, the nature of humankind, and the mystery of death. Together with the windows, we are part of the cathedral, not apart from it. Together, we comprise an interdependent web of being. The cathedral is constructed out of star stuff, and so are we. We are that known part of the creation that contemplates itself. Because the cathedral is so vast, our life so short, and our vision so dim, we are able to contemplate only a tiny part of the cathedral. Yet, since the whole is contained in each of the parts, as we ponder and act on the inside of our ruminations, we may discover insights that will invest our days in meaning and our lives with purpose. A 21st century theology based on the theory honoring many different religious approaches, it only excludes the truth claims of abolitionists. Think about that. That is because fundamentalists claim that the light shines through their window only. Some go so far as to beseech their followers to wildering variety of windows and observing the fall of the worshipers. They conclude that there is no light. But that's what I was saying before. But theirs. Others have trouble believing in a God they cannot see. But that none of us can look directly into God's eyes certainly doesn't mean that God isn't there, mysterious, unknowable, gazing into ours, gazing through the windows of the cathedral of the world. So these were his writings about our faith, maybe how it develops. And I could recommend that you read, here's his whole book on the Cathedral of the World. I have a copy of it, as I do of other of his books. And now I'm going to talk about this book a little bit, Freedom from Fear. Just a minute. This is a very appropriate time to talk about fear, because there's so much going on in our world, and it's so scary with the riots we've been having, with the killings, the violence that's going on in our world, with the extreme politics, with COVID, and COVID resulting in people unable to make a living or not have enough to live on. It's all can be very scary and fearful. It's Church's thinking, and he clarified it in that book, which is, let's see, it was written in 2004, but he clarified it and assures us that with practice we can not suppress our fears, but learn to deal with it. And this is one of the things that was Scott read to you. Do what you can, want what you have, and be who you are. Church broke fear down into 5 topics: worry, fright, guilt, insecurity, and dread. We can be brave and make our way through all the damages that beset our society now, and hopefully learn to inspire others. Please let us all work on learning to face fears. That's all I'm going to go into about that, except in this book, there's a study guide at the end on dealing with fear. And would be, once we get to meet again, it'd be nice if we could go over this workshop, together. And we could even Zoom on it if we'd have a separate meeting on all the things that have to do with being brave and making our way through all the scary things that are happening now. We won't have time for any questions, but if any of you do have questions or want to talk about more of this, just get in touch with me or one of the other members. Okay, all right, I'm going to close with some speaking about love and death, my journey through the valley of the shadow. Now, the things in this book Church wrote about through many sermons throughout his life. This was written after he knew he was going to die, and die fairly quick. He was very ill, and he had had cancer before, but it had come back, and there was no possibility that he was going to recover. And he wrote this book, this journey through the valley of the shadow, that contains a lot of his theology from throughout his career. Now, what I'm reading from you now was he delivered this at the UU General Assembly on Friday, June 27th, 2008, when he was awarded the yearly award given to a member of our church for exemplary service to the community, to our community. And this deals with death a lot more than I might have. I'm going to leave out part of that, as before he ill, he wrote a great deal about love and how to follow love and how to treat people with love and so on. But he always did correlate it with we're all going to die. So it's important that we live the way we want to and that we should. Okay, the General Assembly is a very special occasion for me. Barring some sort of miraculous but nonetheless unexpected turn in my health, it will be my last opportunity to celebrate with you the gift of our chosen faith, a faith that has sustained me and powered my ministry for the past 3 decades and continues to offer me the comfort and inspiration I need during my final months. When asked at a gathering of colleagues what gives most meaning to my work, I replied that above all else, it is the constant reminder of death. Death awakens me to life's preciousness and also its fragility. My father taught me as he lay dying. His father was a very well-known senator, a U.S. senator, and his field was saving the trees. He was, he was born in the late 1800s, but he was interested in saving our earth and ecology long before many others. But anyway, his father taught him as he lay dying. So have many of the parishioners who have enhanced my understanding of life by sharing their deaths with me. In this regard, ministers are particularly graced. People teach us how to die and therefore how to live almost every day. I have found that one can never have too many instructors in this regard. Among the things my congregants have taught me, often in pastoral counseling sessions, is this: the glass we look through into the world is like a lightly stained glass window. Each pane looks out into some aspect of our life. Our vocation and avocations, our spouse or companion if we have one, our parents, our children, our health. At any given time, some of these panes are likely to be rosy and translucent. We see through them clearly, and their tint casts a gentle glow on the prospect we look out on. Imagine, however, that one pane in the window that looks out over our life suddenly grows cloudy. What was translucent becomes first opaque and then almost impenetrable. Tendency is to press our nose up against that one frame, desperately trying to see through it. When we do this, we lose all sense of proportion. Our entire world goes black. How easily this tendency can kick in when we are dying. The once clear pane of our health, which we rarely bothered admiring the view through when all was well with our bodies, goes dark, and we can see nothing beyond our sickness. This is my words, in my experience, that one health can come on if your spirit goes dark, and I consider that a part of health. And some of you all, and Forrest Church was addicted to alcohol, and he went through a period where he had treatment, and then he didn't drink the last few years of his life. But when he talks of that, that's what the pain, how dark it goes. there was a time when I felt that same darkness, and I really identified with what he says, even though he was talking about death. With our nose pressed up against the one frame, we can see nothing through. All our other lights go out. We then invest our life's remaining meaning in what may be impossible, namely beating our sickness. Nothing else matters. There's nothing wrong with doing what we can to polish up this particular pain when it clouds over. Any number of things, modern medicine, meditation, alternative therapies, we can and should muster as cleaning supplies. What concerns me is this: even if we do everything in our power to get healthy again, we may obsess so on our sickness, we lose appreciation for all those things in our life that we would dearly pray return to us if someone suddenly snatched them away. The loving kindness of a spouse or partner, the care and concern of a parent or child, the joy of lifelong friends. A few years ago, I came up with a mantra that has served me as well in sickness as it did before I knew I was dying. Now, we've heard this before during my talk. It's do what you can, want what you have, be who you are. And my thinking is, I'll add this: please let us not wait to think of and act on these things until we know the end is near. Let's do it now. Doing our best, doing what we can, focuses our minds on what is possible. No more, no less. Therefore, by filling each moment with conscious, practicable endeavor. It also demands integrity, being straight with ourselves and one another. Want what you have. That's something important. Even when sick, you can't be selective. You can't do what you can and want only part of what you have. You have to, in his thinking, you want everything you have. To selectively eliminate all pain from our lives may work for a brief time, but we cannot selectively wish away all that is wrong with us without including all that is right. In short, I back away from the darkened pain of my health to gain a prospect of the whole window I am blessed with. The light then dances again in my daughter Nina's eyes. I laugh once more at my little foibles. My son Frank and I celebrate the Mets' acquisition of an all-star pitcher. I can call my dear friends on the phone and talk for an hour. When you're sick and it's dark, you must do what you can. He mentions waiting for cancer treatments or any treatments, and he's so impatient with it until he realized that many other folks are waiting in line for their treatments. So until I shift gears and tackle something that lies well within my powers, I'm not making the most of what I can do. Don't get me wrong. I am not happy about the prospect of dying. I have things left to do in my life and regret the interruption of all my powers. Until my own journey into the valley of the shadow, never before had I made the connection between unfinished business and a dread of death. There's much more to understand about the coming end. He's written, as well as a lot of other people, many things about it. Okay. Here I'm going to talk a little bit finishing our business, and that's doing what you can without really knowing it. I had taken care of business, in my case by stopping drinking, and then by following the spiritual disciplines attendant to faithful recovery. I had conducted a fearless moral inventory, made amends where it was possible and appropriate. If I hadn't, when this apparent death sentence came, no, I would have been crippled by regret. Never have I been so grateful to have attended to my unfinished business when I still could, when there was still time. You know, I think I'm going to end with that. I'm about out of time, and there's much more I could speak about, but I'm going to end with something having to do with the song that was played for us, dancing. And also, Jerry Touchton sent us, probably to all of you, an email, or was on Facebook, telling us that this is Ray Bradbury's it would have been his 100th year of living if he had lived. And he was an early science fiction Jerry said that Ray Bradbury was his favorite writer, and I have to say he was mine too. And because Jerry had mentioned him, Jerry mentioned his favorite book, and my favorite book is story he wrote was The Illustrated Man, and I looked it up, and the thing was, several years after he had written these stories, he wrote a foreword, and he at the time when he was 76 years old, which is about my age and maybe some of your all's age too, and the intro was titled "Let It Be a Dance," and the whole thing was, let it be a dance or we will die. And what he was saying is that we need to establish a reason for living, look around us and take responsibility, set up some goals, and listen to Forrest Church and Ray Bradbury. He's a great fun thing to read anyway. So thank you for paying attention and listening to me if you did, and have a good week.
Together we share, and in this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and in this we live.
you, Bruce. Now let's say this together. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less. It becomes more.
And so we extinguish our chalice. We take its light and warmth with us,
Multiplying their power, and sharing it with the world. We will need some volunteers for September. August is taken care of. I don't think we have any new visitors, but we do have a guest book for them to sign.
Yeah, we did have Cindy came for a while. Does anybody know who Cindy was? She joined us for most of the service, but she's left now.
I know who that is. Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's my sister Cindy in Hereford, Texas. I told her I was going to be speaking this morning, and so she tuned in for a little while.
Well, good. Could you have her come to our guest book and sign in for us?
I hope that was okay. And I also, was there anyone else who showed up who you didn't know?
No, that was the only one. Everybody else is regular. Okay,
good. But I'm so glad she came.
Thanks, awesome. And we have Carol Rice on the 30th, who will do Peace and Principles. Thank you for doing that, Carol. And I can take the first week in September, and I'll let Hunter know. And if anyone is interested in any of the other weeks, please either contact me or Hunter, and we will work with you.
Scott, can y'all share the worship paperwork? I don't know what else to call it. On slide.
The sermon?
It's the one where you can choose the sermons that are on the monthly.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I can make a link to that. Yeah, that's going to be a new document. It hasn't been shared yet. It hasn't been, but I'll create a link for it.
I believe there is a link on the website to the Touchstones.
Oh, to the whole folder? The whole
I'm not sure how it works. You might want to take a look and make sure it's.
I'll take a look. Yeah, that'll be great. Because you have to have, otherwise every month I'd have to be making a link to that particular document, as long as everyone can find it. Yeah. Okay. Did y'all want to talk about, to me, the thing that's most important from the sermon, the thing that really sticks in my mind is making our life count. And I think just not having regrets that we didn't try to do something that would, in some way make a difference. I think that would be what I would hope for, is that I feel that in some small way I've made a difference with my life and haven't wasted it. And so I kind of try to do that. I try to help people, and I do a little bit. It doesn't require a lot. It just requires a little bit of kindness. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but it's very gratifying to be able to help others. And it could be your family. I mean, moms and dads make all kinds of sacrifices, and husbands and wives. So that's just my big takeaway, is how, it's like that saying where when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be worried about something at work. You're going to be thinking about your family, so it's kind of where are your priorities. Anybody else? Well, that was an excellent sermon. I actually went on the UU website and read the sermon about love and death that he had given at one of, I guess it was his church. And that's a good read also. And there's a link to that in this these slides. You can get to it from the our webpage. There's a little blurb about it, a post about this service, and you can go directly to the slides and click on the link. So thanks to everyone for attending. Thank you, Kira and Philip, for taking care of the postcards from Mary, and thanks to Mary. And someone had mentioned that they had the shooting on the Evangeline Thruway. I've been to that service station before. It's a tiny little convenience store and service station, and there was some concern about whether that was excessive force. From what I saw in the news, I don't think there was enough information to determine what happened there. So maybe some body cameras on the police officers may give us more information about whether it was or not. But I saw there was a crowd, there was protests, and and I'm just hoping for accountability and for some truth to come out about what happened, and was the killing to save someone else's life, or was it unnecessary? So I just thought I'd mention that because Black Lives Matter is a concern right now. It should have always been, but it's in the news, and so hopefully we'll see less of that in the future. It's very sad. It's very sad. Anyone else have any comments?
Y'all stay safe during the hurricanes.
Yes.
Hurricanes, yeah.
Yeah, too.
My daughter just went to Costco and she said the line was out the door. People are just getting ready for them.
Yeah, cases of water probably, and
canned food.
Maybe
gas.
some wine. I heard the wine is inexpensive there.
I like the Judy windows, the glass windows. I like that different people seem to
Thank you. I did too. I've always loved that since I first. I don't know if you got my message. You're going to be at the Acadiana Park at 4 o'clock? Is that right?
Correct. And I can meet you, Linda, and Chris, and anyone else who wants to come and get postcards. My number is there. I can post it again if anybody wants me to swing by before. I can. If you're in Lafayette, I don't know about driving out of Lafayette.
Well, I lived in that area for many years, and I know my way.
It's on East Alexandria, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.